Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Morning Coffee Talks. Yeah, I had this subject on my mind yesterday. Um, I'm learning my different uh, opportunities on things I need to work on. And one of those things is I have to continuously get away from people who have the victim mentality. And again, everybody at different points in their life, but like certain conversations, I just have to get away from them. I have to, if it's not bringing value, um, if it's not productive, I have to get away from it, and that's just something I need to work on. But how do you handle pressure? Do you handle it like a leader or a victim? Every man is gonna face some pressure, right? Uh, Pressure at work, in marriage, in business, in life. The question is though, do you handle it like a leader or a victim? For me, leaders rise under pressure and victims fold. Let's really break down how men can handle the pressure the right way, take control, and also come out stronger. We all know it, man. Pressure is just inevitable, right? We're gonna have some pressure in life, but how do you respond differently? Again, isn't a choice, but how we respond is. When it comes to pressure, you got two options, right? Especially when pressure hit. You can have the victim response or you can have the leader's response. So when it comes to the victim's response, those people are gonna complain, they're gonna blame, and they're gonna just collapse. And then for a leader, those people are gonna step up, they're gonna take responsibility, and they're also gonna find solutions. So like here's an example what happened to me, right? I lost my job. And there was a time, I'm telling you, mentally, there was a time when I lost my job and I could have spiraled right into like self pity, um, blame. I felt it. I felt it. And I'm not gonna lie, there was stages that I went through where internally I wanted to express that out to the world and be like, man, this person did this and that. But ultimately I had to take responsibility. But for a lot of men, they never come back from that. Right. And I think a situation like that, if you lose your job, you have to see it as a challenge. You have to say, okay, this is another door that closed, but another door is gonna open up for me, right? Another example is like for husbands out there facing some tension in your marriage, right? Many men gonna avoid it, and I know it for again. I'm learning. I'm talking all about this because there was a window of time that for my marriage, I wasn't the best that I could be, right? And I seen these different phases of that window on how things went. So yeah, that was a part where I was just avoiding attention because I wanted to just keep people happy because I wasn't at that place for myself. But there's a time inside of that where you have to face it head on and attempt to fix it, right? So you need pressure, but you also have to look at it as a challenge to be able to grow stronger. Now, the biggest thing about this is you have to create the mind state shift from victim to leader. The more and more I get into this leadership role, again, I've done it professionally, but personally has been the challenge over years for me is not waste time on excuses, right? Pressure is a test, not a punishment. And let me say that one more time. Yeah, pressure is not a test. I'm sorry, pressure is a test, not a punishment. And so, what are some ways you can look at pressure differently, right? I would say as a leader, from my personal experience and people that I was looking up to, they expect it. They know it's coming, right? Pressure is a sign of responsibility. If you feeling it, most of the time you know you're in the game. Then you know you're doing things right. Um, they control their emotions. This was one of the biggest things I had to learn, because once I started controlling it, I actually kind of went emotionless. I was just kind of robotic a little bit in my early part of my leadership when I was learning how to go through pressure, especially in customer service. Listen, your buttons gonna be pushed, you're gonna be tested. And so I had got to a point when I was first learning how to, this skill of controlling my emotions. I just went cold, and not that I wouldn't get customer service, but I just would not even react at all. You need some empathy in there for people to know that you listen to them, to know that you're at least responding as a human. But I was like robotic a little bit. But the victim mentality is to react in a way that's super reactive and it doesn't get any solutions, right? But as I went through that process, I learned to just like really pause when there's a problem or some pressure, process it, and then respond. I just paused and then didn't really respond in the early stages. I was just like, I really wasn't trying to deal with it because I was just learning to control my emotions first because I was a little bit reactive, a little bit of a high head, a little bit. But also, lastly, uh, you got to stay solution focused, right? One thing I've heard quote over the years is keep the main thing, right? So you just instead of focusing on why something has happened, you know, get into the problem solving mind state of what can I do about it? Just what can I do about it? What's the solution? What's the solution? What's the solution? Versus what's the problem? And just looking at it like that, one sided. There's always two sides to the coin, but for me, always snapping that mind state in. What's the solution? Or something that helped me as well. And this kind of going to um, like I said, when I was going through my training of leadership, how to handle pressure, I just had to take ownership no matter what, right? That was one of the biggest things is just taking ownership no matter what. And I think, again, these skills can translate not only professionally, but also in your personal life, right? Um, you know, leaders, they own their problems, no, not even sometimes when it's even their fault. They own it, just to be a problem solver. And but the moment you take control of the situation, you can take control of pressure. That's when you take power, and I think that's even powerful in itself to be able to control yourself, to able to take power. Um, we talked about controlling your responses, not just your reactions, right? So when pressure hits, again, just breathe, man. Take a pause. Slow down, process your thoughts. Think about it, and then respond, not just react. That's one of the key things of controlling pressure is you have to just breathe, man. You got to just take in whatever that big problem is, because if not, you're gonna pass out from the pressure. But yeah, emotional outbursts and panic is not gonna solve anything. You have to stay grounded as a leader and as a problem solver when it comes to pressure. Um, Again, the biggest thing, man, is find a solution, not an excuse. Find a solution, not an excuse. And again, this is something that was I think the most pivotal thing for me was always just being able to snap into that flip, hitting that switch, just flipping that switch, right? Man, what's the because I look at life like this, right? There's never been a time, even in my past, now reflecting, that when there was problems, I didn't get past them. Right? When there was a problem, I didn't have a solution for it. I didn't fix it. Again, that don't mean it was perfect when you fix it, right? But we got through it. And so that's how I look at it. You have to find a solution, not an excuse, right? And the good thing is though, when it comes to pressure, it definitely forces growth. Only if you face it though. You can't sweep it on the rug. You can't keep putting it off to the side. Like another example, right? If your money tight, right? If your money ain't where it needs to be, complaining about it is not gonna fix it. You have to create a budget. I got a video about budgeting. Y'all go check that out. Right? It's just there's always a solution, man. There's always a solution. I just have never seen anything in life that if there's a problem, there's not a solution. It's just the balance of it. Right? There's the up, the down, the left, the right, the in and out, the yin, the yang, the sun, the moon, like the day, the night. Like there's a balance to it, right? The good, the evil. There's a balance to everything. So problem, solution, right? But see pressure as training as well, not a threat, right? Pressure is training, man. It's making you better. Like I played sports when I grew up, and this taught me a lot of life lessons as well. I would say practice is like controlled failure, right? You do it over and over. It's like you failing over and over and over, but it's controlled failure to get better, right? You're training under that failure. You're training under that pressure. So it's not a threat in a negative way to you, right? It's putting you closer and closer of being tested so you can survive those pressure moments, those problem moments. So if you want to be a leader, you definitely have to embrace that challenge. And finally, man, in a nutshell, pressure is just going to make or break you. You know, choose who you want to be. Pressure isn't the enemy. Weakness is. Pressure isn't the enemy. Weakness is. If you can master handling pressure, then you can handle anything. You know, leaders will rise under pressure. And again, victims fold. So which one you going to be? Right? Hey, drop a comment below. Subscribe to the Husband Code if it's your first time. If you've been watching for a while, subscribe. And also, if you got any value from this video, hit the like button. Also, hit the notification bell because we're dropping videos like this every single day. And until next time, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.